Dr. Taemin Park looked up from his medical reports as the emergency alarm rang through the New Busan medical station. The sound made everyone stop what they were doing. In the 3 years since the station opened, they had never heard that alarm before. "Dr. Park, you need to come to the communication center right now," said Nurse Hyejin Kim as she ran into his office. Her face was pale and her hands were shaking. "There's a ship in space above us. A big one. They're asking for help." Taemin put down his work and followed Hyejin through the white halls of the medical station. New Busan was a small research facility on the edge of human space. They studied alien plants and animals to learn how to make new medicines. But they had never seen a real alien before. The communication center was full of people staring at the big screen. On it was a face that made everyone silent. The being had blue skin that seemed to glow from inside. Its eyes were silver and very large. When it spoke, its voice sounded like music mixed with sadness. "Human healers," the alien said in broken human language. "Our princess is dying. Your people are known for helping others. Please, we have tried everything. She will die soon if no one helps her." Commander Suho Choi, the man in charge of station security, stepped forward. "This could be dangerous, Dr. Park. We don't know anything about these aliens. They could be trying to trick us," but Taemin was already thinking like a doctor. Someone was hurt and needed help. That was all that mattered to him. "Tell them we will help," he said. "Ask them to bring their princess here." "Sir, I don't think that's a good idea," Commander Choi said. "What if this is some kind of attack?" "Then we fight back if we have to," Taemin replied. "But right now someone needs medical help. That's what we do here." The alien on the screen seemed to understand their words. Its silver eyes became brighter, and it pressed its hands together in what looked like a prayer. "Thank you, human healer. We come now. Please be ready." 2 hours later, a shuttle landed outside the medical station. It was made of something that looked like crystal and metal mixed together. The ship was beautiful but also scary. When the door opened, 4 tall aliens walked out. The first alien was clearly a king or leader. He wore clothes made of silver cloth and had a crown that floated above his head without touching it. His face was serious and worried. Behind him came 3 guards carrying a bed. On the bed was a young alien who looked very sick. Her blue skin was almost white, and her silver hair was dull and lifeless. She was not moving. "This had to be the princess. I am King Varric of the Valari Empire," the leader said. His human language was much better than the first alien who had called them. "This is my daughter, Princess Nala. She is my only child." Taemin looked at the princess and felt his heart become heavy. She was so young and so sick. "Bring her inside quickly," he said. "Hyejin, get the special medical room ready. The one we use for studying alien biology." They moved the princess to the medical room. King Varric followed them, never taking his eyes off his daughter. Taemin could see that under all the royal clothes and crown, this was just a scared father watching his child die. "What happened to her?" Taemin asked as he started checking the princess with his medical tools. 3 weeks ago, she was exploring old ruins on a dead planet," King Varric explained. "She touched something there. Since then, she has been getting sicker. Our best healers cannot help her. They say something is eating her life from inside." Taemin looked at his medical readings. The princess's body was fighting something, but he could not see what it was. Her brain activity was strange too. It looked like something else was in there with her thoughts. "This is very unusual," he said. "May I try some tests that your people might not have used?" King Varric nodded quickly. "Do anything. I will give you anything you want if you can save her." For the next 4 hours, Taemin ran every test he could think of. Hyejin helped him and they worked without stopping. The other humans in the station watched from outside the room, amazed to see real aliens. Finally, Taemin found something. "There," he said, pointing to a scan of the princess's brain. "Do you see this?" King Varric looked at the screen but could not understand what he was seeing. "What is it?" "There's something living in her nervous system," Taemin explained. "It's not a disease or poison. It's some kind of energy being. It's attached itself to her brain and is feeding on her life energy." "Can you remove it?" the king asked. Taemin thought carefully. "Maybe. But this is not like any medical problem I have seen before. Your daughter is not just sick. She has another consciousness sharing her body. If I try to force it out, I might hurt both of them." King Varric's face became very sad. "Then she will die?" "Not if I can help it," Taemin said. "But I need to try something that has never been done before. I need to talk to this thing that is inside her." Maybe it doesn't want to hurt her. Maybe it's just lost and scared. Talk to it? King Varric looked confused. How can you talk to a parasite? The same way I talk to any patient, Taemin said, with understanding and kindness. Will you let me try? King Varric looked at his daughter lying so still and pale on the medical bed. Then he looked at this human doctor who was willing to risk everything to save someone he had never met before. Yes, the king said. Do whatever you think is best. You are her only hope now. Taemin nodded and began preparing for the strangest medical procedure of his life. He would have to connect his mind to an alien princess and an unknown energy being. If he failed, they might all die. But if he succeeded, he might save not just a life, but create a friendship between two species that had never trusted each other before. As night fell over New Busan, Dr. Taemin Park prepared to risk everything for a patient he had just met. Because that was what doctors did. They helped whoever needed help, no matter who they were or where they came from. The next morning, Taemin stood in his laboratory looking at equipment he had never used together before. Dr. Boram Lee, his friend and fellow scientist, was helping him set up a machine that could connect human and alien nervous systems. Are you sure about this? Boram asked as she connected wires and checked computer screens. We don't know what this energy being might do to your mind. I have to try, Taemin said. The princess is getting weaker every hour. If we wait much longer, it will be too late. King Varric had not left his daughter's side all night. He sat next to her bed, holding her hand and speaking to her in their musical alien language. Sometimes he would look at Taemin with hope in his silver eyes. Other times he looked afraid. Commander Suho Choi came into the room. Doctor, are you really going to connect your brain to an alien parasite? What if it jumps into your mind instead? Then you'll have to find a way to help both of us, Taemin said simply. But I don't think it will do that. I think this being is more scared than we are. The machine was ready. It looked like a helmet connected to many wires and computers. Taemin would wear it while touching the princess. The machine would let him feel what she was feeling and maybe talk to whatever was inside her mind. The Valari have technology that can help, King Varric said. He called to one of his guards who brought a small crystal device. This will make the connection stronger and safer. Our healers use it to share pain with their patients. Taemin took the crystal. It felt warm and seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. Thank you. This will help a lot. He put on the helmet and held the Valari crystal in one hand. With his other hand, he touched the princess's forehead. Her skin felt cold and strange, like touching water and electricity at the same time. Starting the connection now, Boram said from behind her computer. At first, Taemin felt nothing different. Then slowly he began to sense something else. It was like hearing a whisper from very far away. The feeling got stronger until he could almost understand it. Then suddenly he was not in the medical room anymore. He was floating in space, but it was not empty space. This space was full of colors and sounds and feelings. And he was not alone. There was something with him. It felt young and lost and very afraid. When it noticed Taemin, it tried to hide. Don't be scared, Taemin said, though he was not sure if he was speaking with his voice or his mind. I'm here to help. The being came a little closer. Now Taemin could see it was like a small star made of living light. It was beautiful, but it was also shaking with fear. I didn't mean to hurt anyone, the being said in a voice like wind chimes. I was just so scared and alone. The bright one was warm and safe, so I held on to her. The bright one is Princess Nala, Taemin explained gently. You're hurting her by staying attached to her mind. She needs her energy to live. I don't know how to let go, the being cried. If I let go, I'll be alone in the dark again. I've been lost for so long. Taemin felt sorry for this little creature. It was not trying to be evil. It was just a child that had gotten lost and scared. Where are you from? He asked. I lived in the heart of a star with my family, the being said sadly. But there was a big storm in space. It blew me away from home. I've been floating in the dark for so long, getting weaker and weaker. When I found the bright one, I thought maybe I could rest for a while. I understand, Taemin said, but you're taking her life energy to keep yourself alive. That's not fair to her. I know, the being said, but I don't know what else to do. If I leave her, I'll die, Taemin thought carefully. This little energy being needed a place to live, but it could not stay in Princess Nala. Then he had an idea. What if I could find you a new home? He asked. Something that could give you energy without being hurt? The being became brighter with hope. Is that possible? Yes, Taemin said. There are machines on this station that use energy like the kind you need. You could live there safely. But what if I get lost again? Then we'll help you find your way home, Taemin promised. We humans are good at helping people find where they belong. The energy being was quiet for a long time. Then it said, "You would really help me? Even though I hurt the bright one?" "Everyone makes mistakes when they're scared," Taemin said. "What matters is that you want to do the right thing now." Slowly, carefully, the energy being began to pull itself away from Princess Nala's mind. Taemin helped guide it, showing it how to disconnect without causing more damage. "There," the being said. "I'm not holding on anymore, but I'm getting weak again." "Hold on just a little longer," Taemin said. "I'm going to take you to your new home." Back in the medical room, Taemin opened his eyes. King Varric was staring at him with worry and hope mixed together. "Did it work?" the king asked. "Look at your daughter," Taemin said. Princess Nala's blue skin was getting its color back. Her breathing was becoming stronger. After a moment, her silver eyes opened. "Father," she said weakly. King Varric started crying. He hugged his daughter carefully and spoke to her in their own language. She was going to be okay, but Taemin was not finished yet. He still had the energy being with him, and it was getting weaker every second. "Boram, I need you to take me to the main power core," he said quickly. "I have a passenger that needs a new home." They hurried to the station's power center. Taemin placed his hands on the energy collector that powered their lights and computers. "This will be perfect for you," he told the being. "There's plenty of energy here, and you won't hurt anyone." The energy being flowed from Taemin's mind into the power system. Immediately, the lights in the station became brighter and warmer. "Thank you, kind healer," the being said happily. "I will never forget what you did for me." "And we'll help you get home someday," Taemin promised. When they returned to the medical room, Princess Nala was sitting up and talking to her father. She looked much better, though still tired. "You saved her," King Varric said to Taemin. "You saved my daughter's life." "We all work together," Taemin said. "Your technology, our medicine, and a little understanding. That's how problems get solved." King Varric looked at this human doctor with new respect. He had expected humans to be simple and crude. But this man had solved a problem that the best Valari healers could not fix. And he had done it not by fighting or destroying, but by showing kindness to everyone involved. "How can I repay you for this?" the king asked. "Just take good care of your daughter," Taemin said. "That's all the payment I need." But King Varric was already thinking about much bigger things than payment. This human had shown him something amazing about his species. Maybe it was time for the Valari Empire to learn more about humanity. 3 days later, Princess Nala was walking around the medical station like she had never been sick at all. The Valari people healed very fast once they were healthy again. She spent her time asking questions about everything she saw. "How does this machine work?" she asked Taemin as they stood in front of a medical scanner. "Why do you use light to see inside bodies instead of energy touch like we do?" "Different ways can both work well," Taemin explained. "Sometimes it helps to have many different ways to solve the same problem." Princess Nala nodded thoughtfully. She was very smart and wanted to learn everything about human medicine. Her father watched her with happiness. A week ago, he thought he would never see her smile again. King Varric had been watching the humans work for 3 days now. He saw how they treated their patients with gentleness and care. He saw how they worked together to solve problems. He saw how they never gave up when things were difficult. Dr. Jae-won Shin, the station's expert on alien cultures, had been talking with the king about the differences between human and Valari societies. The king was surprised by many things he learned. "Your people do not have kings or emperors?" King Varric asked during one of their conversations. "Some places do, some don't," Jae-won explained. "But most humans believe that everyone should have a say in how they are governed. We call it democracy. And your healers work for free? They do not serve only the rich and powerful?" "Good doctors help everyone who needs help," Jae-won said. "Rich, poor, human, or alien, it doesn't matter." This was very different from Valari society, where healers served the royal family first, then the nobles and common people last. On the 4th day, King Varric asked to speak privately with Taemin. They went to the station's garden room, where earth plants grew under artificial sunlight. "Dr. Park," the king said, I must tell you something important. I did not come to human space only because my daughter was sick. Taemin was not surprised. He had wondered why the Valari king himself had come instead of sending others. The Valari Empire has been watching your species for several years, King Varric continued. As humans spread to more planets, many of my people have become worried. They think humans might become dangerous to us someday. And what do you think? Taemin asked. Before this week, I thought they might be right, the king said honestly. Humans reproduce quickly and adapt to new places easily. Your technology grows very fast. These things could make you a threat to other species. But now, King Varric smiled. Now I have seen what humans do when someone needs help. You risked your own life to save my daughter. You showed kindness to a lost energy being. You worked together instead of fighting each other. These are not the actions of a dangerous species. They walked among the earth flowers in silence for a while. Then the king spoke again. When my daughter became sick, I saw it as an opportunity. I could test whether humans would help us or try to use our weakness against us. I expected you might demand payment first or try to keep us here as prisoners. Some humans might do those things, Taemin admitted. We're not all good people, but most of us try to help when we can. That is what I have learned, the king said, and now I want to do something that has never been done before. Princess Nala came running into the garden room with Nurse Hee-jin following behind her. The princess had been learning basic human language very quickly. Father, she said excitedly. Hee-jin showed me how they grow medicines from plants. Can we try this on our world too? Maybe we can, daughter, King Varric said, smiling at her enthusiasm. In fact, that is something I want to discuss. That evening, King Varric called everyone together in the station's main meeting room. All the humans were there, along with Princess Nala and the Valari guards. People of New Busan, the king began. You have shown my family great kindness. You saved my daughter's life and asked for nothing in return. You have taught me that humans and Valari can work together instead of fearing each other. Everyone listened quietly, wondering what the king would say next. Therefore, I want to invite Dr. Taemin Park to come with us to the Valari homeworld. There he can show our Imperial Council the medical techniques he used to save my daughter. If the Council agrees, we will form the first alliance between the Valari Empire and humanity. The room was completely silent. Then Commander Choi spoke up. Your Majesty, that's a great honor. But wouldn't it be dangerous for Dr. Park to travel so far from human space? He will be under my personal protection, King Varric said. Any harm to him would be an insult to the royal family. No one would dare hurt him. Princess Nala stepped forward. I will make sure he is safe too, she said in her careful human words. He saved my life. Now I will help protect his. Taemin thought about this carefully. Going to an alien world far from home would be risky. But it could also help bring peace between humans and one of the most powerful species in the galaxy. What would I need to do on your world? He asked. Show our healers how you saved Nala, the king explained. Teach them about human medical philosophy. Help them understand that different approaches to healing can work together. And if the council decides they don't like humans? King Varric's face became serious. Then you will return home safely, and we will leave human space in peace. But I do not think that will happen. If they meet you and see what you can do, they will understand what I have learned. Taemin looked around the room at his friends and colleagues. They all looked worried but also proud. This could be the most important medical mission in human history. I'll need to bring some equipment and maybe an assistant, he said. Dr. Mi Young Song is our best expert on alien biology, said Dr. Bo Ram Lee. She should go with you. King Varric nodded approvingly. Bring whoever and whatever you need. The Valari Empire will provide everything else. Princess Nala clapped her hands with joy. This will be wonderful. I can show you our crystal cities and floating gardens. When would we leave? Taemin asked. In 3 days, the king said. That will give you time to prepare and give me time to send messages to the Imperial Council. They need to know that something very important is coming. As the meeting ended, Taemin felt both excited and nervous. He was going to travel farther from Earth than any human doctor had ever gone before. The future relationship between humans and aliens might depend on how well he could do his job, but he also felt confident. He had saved Princess Nala by treating everyone with kindness and respect. If he could do the same thing on the Valari homeworld, maybe he could help build a friendship that would last for generations. Dr. Park. King, Varric said as the others were leaving, there is one more thing you should know. The Imperial Council has never changed their minds about anything important. You will be asking them to do something that goes against thousands of years of Valari tradition. What tradition is that? Taemin asked. We have always believed that the Valari way of doing things is the only right way, the king said quietly. You will be asking them to admit that aliens can teach us something new. The journey to the Valari homeworld took 5 days in the king's royal ship. Taemin had never seen anything as beautiful as this vessel. The walls were made of crystal that showed stars and space outside. The floors felt warm and soft under his feet. Everything seemed to be alive and glowing gently. Dr. Mi Young Song, who had come with him, spent most of her time studying the ship's medical equipment. This is incredible, she told Taemin as they examined a healing chamber. They use pure energy to repair tissue. It's like magic, but it's really advanced science. Ambassador Dong Hyuk Nam, who had joined them to handle political matters, was more worried about what would happen when they arrived. The message we received from the Imperial Council didn't sound very friendly, he said. They agreed to meet you, but some of them are not happy about it. Princess Nala helped Taemin learn about Valari culture during the trip. She taught him how to bow properly and what words to use when speaking to the council members. The most important thing, she explained, is to show respect, but not fear. The council members will test you to see if you are weak or strong. What kind of tests? Taemin asked. They will probably give you impossible medical cases, Princess Nala said. Problems that our best healers have failed to solve for many years. If you can't fix them, they will say humans are not as good as we thought. When they finally reached Valaris Prime, Taemin could not believe what he saw. The planet looked like a giant jewel floating in space. Cities made of crystal and metal covered the surface, connected by bridges of light. Gardens floated in the air without any support, full of plants that glowed in colors Taemin had never seen before. Welcome to our world, King Varric said proudly as their ship landed in the royal city. You are the first humans ever to see this place. The Imperial Palace was even more amazing than the ship. The building seemed to be carved from a single enormous crystal. Inside, the halls were filled with light that moved and danced like it was alive. Valari nobles walked through the corridors wearing robes that changed color as they moved. But Taemin could feel that many of these people were not happy to see him. They stared at him with cold eyes and whispered to each other in their musical language. He didn't need to understand their words to know they were saying bad things about humans. The Imperial Council met in a huge room with a ceiling that showed the night sky of their world. 12 Valari nobles sat in chairs that floated above the floor. At the center was an older Valari with silver skin and eyes like stars. This was Chancellor Corvex, the leader of the council. So, Chancellor Corvex said in perfect human language, this is the human who thinks he can teach Valari healers new tricks. I don't think I'm better than your healers, Taemin said politely. I just hope we can learn from each other. Learning goes both ways, Chancellor, King Varric said from his own floating throne. Dr. Park saved my daughter using methods our healers never tried. One lucky success does not prove anything, said another council member, Admiral Thyra. Perhaps the human just got lucky. A third member, High Healer Nexus, spoke up. If this human is truly skilled, he won't mind proving it. We have 3 patients that no Valari healer has been able to help. Let's see what human medicine can do for them. Taemin had expected this. I'll do my best to help them, he said. But I want to be clear about something. I'm not here to prove that humans are better than Valari. I'm here to show that working together makes us both stronger. Chancellor Corvex smiled, but it was not a kind smile. Very well. Bring in the first patient. The first patient was a Valari warrior named Captain Ixon. He had been hurt in a battle with space pirates 5 years ago. The weapons had left scars on his body that glowed with strange energy. The scars caused him terrible pain and were slowly spreading. Our healers say the quantum energy in the scars cannot be removed. High Healer Nexus explained. It is permanently bonded to his cells. Taemin examined the warrior carefully. The scars did contain quantum energy, but that wasn't the real problem. Captain Ixon, he said, Tell me about the battle where you got these wounds. Why does that matter? The warrior asked. The past is over. Because I think these scars hurt more when you remember the battle, Taman said gently. Am I right? Captain Ixon looked surprised. Yes, but how did you know? Because quantum scars react to strong emotions, Taman explained. Your body is fine, but your mind is still fighting that battle every day. The scars feed on your emotional pain. Working with Dr. Mi-young, Taman created a treatment that combined Valari energy healing with human psychological therapy. They helped Captain Ixon talk about his fears and guilt from the battle. As his emotional wounds healed, the quantum scars began to fade. The council members looked impressed but not convinced. Interesting, Chancellor Korvac said. But one success proves nothing. Bring in the second patient. The second patient was a young Valari child named Kelu. She had been born with a condition that made her body's energy flow backward. Instead of energy moving from her heart to her limbs, it flowed the wrong way. This made her very weak and sick. This is a genetic condition, High Healer Nexus said. There is no cure. Taman studied the child's medical scans. The Valari were right that they couldn't fix the energy flow, but humans had dealt with similar problems in a different way. What if we don't try to fix the energy flow? He suggested. What if we work with it instead? He designed a small mechanical device that would help direct the child's backward energy flow to where it needed to go. The device was powered by the child's own energy, so it didn't fight against her natural biology. This is impossible, High Healer Nexus said as they watched the device work. You cannot mix mechanical parts with living energy. On Earth, we've been doing it for hundreds of years, Dr. Mi-young explained. We call them medical implants. The trick is making them work with the body instead of against it. Little Kelu was running around the medical room within an hour of getting the device. Her parents, who had thought she would never be strong, began to cry with joy. The council was less dismissive now, but Chancellor Korvac still looked skeptical. Two unusual solutions, he admitted. But we have one more test. This patient is special. The third patient made everyone in the room become very quiet. It was an elderly Valari named Elder Thane. He had once been a great scientist, but now he seemed confused and lost. Sometimes he would speak to people who weren't there. Other times he would forget where he was. Elder Thane's consciousness is fragmenting across multiple dimensions, High Healer Nexus explained sadly. His mind exists partly in our reality and partly in others. He is slowly disappearing from our world. This was the hardest case Taman had ever seen. The old Valari's mind was literally scattered across different realities. Valari energy healing couldn't reach the parts of his consciousness that existed in other dimensions. But Taman had an idea. What if we don't try to bring all the pieces back to our dimension, he said. What if we help him organize his memories so he can function even with a scattered mind? Working day and night, Taman and Dr. Mi-young developed a memory reconstruction therapy. They used human psychological techniques combined with Valari energy work to help Elder Thane create mental anchors in this reality. They taught him to recognize which memories belonged to which dimension. They helped him build mental pathways between the scattered pieces of his consciousness. It took 3 weeks, but slowly Elder Thane began to make sense again. I remember now, the old Valari said one day, his eyes clear and focused. I remember who I am and where I belong. The Imperial Council was silent for a long time after Elder Thane's recovery. Finally, Chancellor Korvac spoke. These results are unexpected, he said. You have solved problems using methods we never considered. Methods that should not work according to our understanding of medicine. Maybe that's the point, Taman said. When we only use one approach to solve problems, we miss other solutions that might work even better. Admiral Thyra leaned forward in her floating chair. Are you saying that Valari medicine is incomplete? I'm saying that all medicine is incomplete, Taman replied, including human medicine. We learn more when we work together and share our knowledge. High Healer Nexus, who had been the most skeptical, looked thoughtful. Perhaps there is wisdom in what you say, but proving it will require more than treating 3 patients. Chancellor Korvac stood up from his chair. Indeed it will. In fact, it will require treating 1 more patient. The most important patient of all. The room became very quiet. Princess Nala looked worried. Even King Varric seemed surprised. What do you mean, Chancellor? The king asked. I mean myself, Chancellor Korvac said quietly.
I am dying, Your Majesty.
And if this human healer is truly as skilled as these demonstrations suggest, perhaps he can save my life as well. The Great Council chamber fell completely silent. Chancellor Corvex, the most powerful Valari leader after the king, had just announced that he was dying. Even more shocking, he was asking a human doctor to save his life. "Chancellor," King Varric said carefully, "you never told us you were sick." "I did not want to worry the council," Corvex replied. "Besides, our healers have already said there is nothing they can do. I have perhaps a month left to live." High Healer Nexus looked ashamed. "We have tried everything, Your Majesty. The Chancellor suffers from temporal displacement syndrome. His consciousness is slowly shifting out of phase with our reality." Taman felt his heart become heavy. This was the most serious condition he had ever heard of. What caused this to happen? "Experiments with time dilation technology," Chancellor Corvex explained. 15 years ago, I worked on a project to slow down time around our ships during long space journeys. Something went wrong during a test. Since then, I have been slowly falling out of step with normal time. "What are the symptoms?" Dr. Mi Young asked. "Sometimes I see things that happened in the past as if they were happening now," the Chancellor said. "Other times I glimpse possible futures. Gradually I am losing my connection to the present moment. Soon I will fade away from this reality completely." Taman studied the medical scans that High Healer Nexus provided. The Chancellor's brain patterns were unlike anything he had seen before. Parts of his consciousness seemed to exist slightly in the past, others slightly in the future. "This is incredibly complex," he admitted. "Valari energy healing can't fix this because the problem exists across multiple time streams. But human medicine alone won't work either, because we don't have technology that can affect time." "So you cannot help me," Chancellor Corvex said. "It wasn't a question." "I didn't say that," Taman replied. "I said neither of our medical systems alone can fix this. But what if we combine them in a way that's never been tried before?" "What do you mean?" High Healer Nexus asked. "I mean, we work together as partners, not as competitors," Taman explained. "You use your energy manipulation to stabilize the Chancellor's temporal displacement. I use human psychological techniques to help anchor his consciousness to the present moment." "That's impossible," High Healer Nexus said. "We have never combined our healing methods with alien techniques." "Maybe that's exactly why we should try it," suggested Captain Sora Lim, the human security officer who had come with them. "The Chancellor is dying because normal methods don't work. Maybe it's time to try something completely new." Engineer Wu Jin Han, who had been studying Valari technology during their visit, stepped forward. "I might be able to help with the technical side. I've been learning how your energy systems work. I think I can modify some equipment to bridge human and Valari medical approaches." Chancellor Corvex looked around at all these people offering to help save his life. "You would do this for me? Even though I have not been kind to your species?" "You're a patient who needs help," Taman said simply. "That's all that matters." For the next week, they worked together to prepare for the most complicated medical procedure any of them had ever attempted. Wu Jin modified machines to let human and Valari healing work together. Dr. Mi Young studied Valari temporal science to understand how time displacement worked. Even young healer apprentice Kira, one of High Healer Nexus's students, helped by translating complex medical terms between their languages. The day of the procedure, the entire Imperial Council gathered to watch. This would either save their Chancellor's life or prove that human medicine was just another false hope. Chancellor Corvex lay on a bed surrounded by both human machines and Valari crystal healing devices. Taman wore a special helmet that let him monitor the Chancellor's brain activity. High Healer Nexus stood ready with her hands over glowing energy crystals. "Remember," Taman said to his Valari partner, "we have to work in perfect harmony. If our timing is even slightly off, we could make his condition worse." "I understand," High Healer Nexus replied. "Let us begin." The procedure took 6 hours. Taman used human techniques to help Chancellor Corvex focus his mind on the present moment. He guided the Chancellor through memories of important events in his life, helping him build strong mental connections to the current time. At the same time, High Healer Nexus used Valari energy manipulation to stabilize the temporal fluctuations in the Chancellor's brain. Whenever his consciousness started to drift into the past or future, she would gently pull it back to the present. "I can see it working," Dr. Mi Young reported from her monitoring station. "The Chancellor's brain patterns are becoming more stable. The temporal displacement is decreasing," Wu Jin added from his control panel. "The combined approach is actually working." Slowly, carefully, they helped Chancellor Corvex's scattered consciousness come back together in the present moment. When the procedure was finally finished, the Chancellor opened his eyes and looked around the room with clear, focused vision. "I can see only the present," he said with wonder in his voice. "The past and future are where they belong, in memory and possibility, not in my immediate vision." The Imperial Council erupted in amazement. High Healer Nexus stared at her hands as if she couldn't believe what she had just accomplished. "We did it," she whispered. "We actually did it." "No," Taman corrected gently. "We did it. Humans and Valari working together." Chancellor Corvex sat up slowly, testing his recovered senses. "Human healer," he said formally, "you have given me back my life. How can the Valari Empire ever repay such a gift?" King Varric stepped forward with a smile that seemed to light up the entire chamber. "I believe it is time to announce your reward, Dr. Park. The Imperial Council will now vote on the proposal I sent them before we arrived." The vote was unanimous. Every council member agreed that humans had proven themselves worthy of alliance with the Valari Empire. But that was only the beginning of Timon's rewards. "First," King Varric announced, "you will receive the title of Healer of Worlds, the highest medical honor in the Valari Empire. You are the first non-Valari ever to receive it." High Healer Nexus approached with a beautiful crystal pendant. "This biocrystal will extend your human lifespan to match ours," she explained. "You will live for over 500 years, giving you time to share your knowledge with many generations. Second," the king continued, "humanity will be granted access to all Valari medical technology. In return, we ask that you teach our healers your psychological and adaptive medical techniques. Third, the Valari Empire grants humanity stewardship over 3 star systems in our territory. These will become joint medical research colonies, where our peoples can work together." Ambassador Nam could barely contain his excitement. These star systems alone would make humanity a major galactic power. "Fourth," King Varric said, "we offer Dr. Tamin Park the position of Chief Medical Advisor to the Valari Empire. You would be the first human to hold galactic-level authority, but the final reward was the most personal one." Princess Nala stepped forward, now wearing the robes of a full adult member of the royal family. "I have decided to serve as permanent liaison between our species," she announced. "I will establish myself at the Joint Research Facility on New Busan, where I can continue learning from human medicine." "But Nala," her father said, "that means leaving home for many years." "Dr. Park left his home to save our people," she replied. "Now I want to help build the friendship between our worlds. Besides," she added with a smile, "I think I can learn much more about healing by working with humans." The ceremony ended with the formal signing of the Human Valari Medical Alliance. Tamin, wearing his new biocrystal pendant, signed the treaty alongside King Varric and Chancellor Corvex. "One question," Chancellor Corvex said as they finished the ceremony. "Why did you risk everything to help people you had never met before?" Taman thought about this for a moment. "Because that's what healing means," he said finally. "It doesn't matter who someone is or where they come from. If they need help, you try to help them. When we care for each other, everyone becomes stronger." 5 years later, the joint medical facility on New Busan had become famous throughout the galaxy. Doctors from dozens of species came there to learn the new healing techniques that combined human adaptability with Valari energy manipulation. Tai Min, now bearing the biocrystal that would let him live for centuries, worked alongside Princess Nala as co-director of the facility. Together, they had developed treatments that saved millions of lives across dozens of worlds. The energy being that had once been lost in Princess Nala's mind now helped power the station's medical equipment. It had become friends with the other energy beings they discovered, and sometimes it would tell young patients stories about the kind human doctor who had saved both it and the princess. On quiet evenings, Taman would sometimes look up at the stars and remember that day when an alien ship had appeared asking for help. He had risked everything to save one sick alien girl. In return, he had gained not just personal rewards, but had helped bring peace and friendship between species that had never trusted each other before. It proved that sometimes the greatest victories came not from fighting or conquering, but from the simple act of caring for someone who needed help. And in a galaxy full of different species with different